I tried shooting this video a few times, and every time I tried shooting this video actually turned into a different lesson or a different kind of subject. So I wanted to actually address where it evolved into first, and then I'll talk about what I actually wanted to talk about originally with the video. However, I do think that they go hand in hand. So here is what the video evolved into. If you are a person who is debating on taking a break from art, it's okay. It's okay if you do. If you are starting to hate it, I ask you to please take a break and don't push yourself to keep doing it because you feel obligated. Obviously, that is going to be a slightly difficult ask if you do have projects that you need to finish up and depending on what your obligations are. But if you need to take a break, take a break. Hindsight being 2020, I would recommend putting a time limit on that break just so you have a good idea of, or basically so you just don't let it languish into infinity. But you don't need to. And I would take it to be a very serious introspective time to figure out why you need to take that break. And you're not wrong for doing it. Additionally, if you're either thinking about or if you have taken a break from art, and if you never get back into it again, that's okay. I'm sure the art community will miss you. There are things that only you can create. However, that's not worth your sanity and or feeling extreme rage or hatred or sadness about doing something that you don't want to be doing, that your heart's not in. So that's okay. If you are someone who is getting back into art, or someone who's learning, I'm gonna start with the people who are getting back into art after not doing it for a while. It's frustrating, so frustrating. But you'll be able to do it. Let the frustrations kind of motivate you. You're not so much having to relearn things, you're just having to relearn how to do them. I see it as essentially you were a trained professional who used to, run a marathon and then you just stopped running marathons. So it's not that you don't know how to run a marathon, it's just you don't have the muscles to do it right now and or the stamina or endurance. So you just need to build that back up. And for the people who are getting into art, keep doing it, keep working at it. I know that's the advice that everyone gives. And it gets really frustrating to hear that advice because when you're looking to someone to tell you like, hey, what do I need to do? And when their response is just do it, that's not necessarily good guidance. But the problem is that it's really hard to give guidance with art because there's really no wrong way to do it. I mean, there's theories and ways that people are able to make it easier and there's ways, there's ways to make good art, but that's more with composition. Ultimately, there really is no wrong way to do art, which is exciting. And that's why I think so many people have such a hard time explaining that, especially because I know there are a lot of people out there who are self-taught and or even if they were classically trained, they still aren't sure if that's the right way to do it. So I think there's this weird gap of people who we would consider to be an authority because they do it, and the people we consider to be an authority still just trying to figure out what they're doing. And for the last group, if you do create, and or I guess there's actually two technical groups after this, but if you do create and you're just watching this, keep creating. Embrace the frustrations, embrace the victories, stop being so hard on yourself. We are our worst critic, and we need to learn to just ignore ourselves. We are our worst troll, and we need to learn to just tell us to STFU and move on. So, yeah. And for those of you who don't do art and are just watching this because you like weird vlog style things or you're just fascinated with how our artists create, hello. I hope this is interesting and fun for you. So why did I need to say that? Basically because the reason why I stopped art is because it made me angry, furious even, extremely rage. Like just it activated this weird rage thing within me that it was borderline terrifying, just because it was so intense, so deep, so yeah, I can't really explain it. And I stopped because I just didn't enjoy it anymore. I had a lot of guilt about stopping. I still have guilt about stopping, and I'm working on not feeling as bad about it, because it's not that I don't think that, I feel like the guilt is more because I realized there were some people I probably let down. I let myself down, but at the same time, I was not in an emotional state to create art. The artwork I was starting to create when I was super angry, it wasn't good. And I do believe that, art can be a therapy, and I'm not saying that people who create art out of a space of rage, that's obviously bad. What I'm saying is, for me, my relationship was starting to become toxic with making art. And it wasn't so much I was using anger to inspire and or bleed it off. It was I would be angry after, I would be angry thinking about it. Like, art just made me angry, and it was not a good association to start be making to art, personally. And I didn't want to have that association, which is why I decided I need to stop. A lot of things in my life at that time contributed to that, and I know that I wasn't taking care of myself in the ways that I needed to keep myself healthy. And that's ideally what, or I shouldn't say ideally, but that is what, was the result of all of that. So I also know that I know I said in the beginning that I would have given myself kind of a cutoff date, like a time limit. And I didn't do that because I wasn't sure. And the reason why I wasn't sure is that the day I decided I wouldn't do art anymore, I said, all right, I'm just not going to do art anymore. And I didn't have a sense of joy. I didn't have a sense of relief, but I also didn't have sadness. So I knew I wasn't angry about it or angry with my decision, but I knew I also wasn't like completely okay with it, if that makes sense. There was no emotion, no connection to it. So I decided, well, we'll just see how long this lasts, and if it lasts forever, it lasts forever. And about 6 to 9 months ago, I woke up and just one day I had a desire to draw something. And I will admit I did not draw anything that day. I was terrified. I was so enamored with the feeling of actually wanting to create again. I hadn't felt that way in like 2 years, so it was really nice to kind of feel that way. And, if I'm honest, it's actually getting into 3 years. Oh man, maybe I didn't create for like 3 years. Anyway, it doesn't matter, whatever. Time is weird. So I didn't draw that first day, and I was really scared, and I decided to start doing it. And what I would do is I would draw for about a week and then stop, because it just, either I got tired or stuff with, personal life interfered, and then I would sit there and a month later be like, oh, hey, you started drawing, but then you never finished. Congratulations. And it was one of those, I was so terrified that if I launched myself full, like head deep or headlong into doing art, would I even create again? Would I burn myself out and then just take another 2 to 3 years off? Would I take even longer? So I was really worried. I wanted to cultivate it the right way instead of just the wrong way. And I know that I tend to throw myself into things passionately, is a good way to put it. And that's not always the best way. So when I realized I wanted to start getting back into art, before I actually quit art, one of the things I'd always wanted to do was have a YouTube channel. And so I decided to start recording because I thought it would be great. And then, funny enough, because here I am, I'm finally doing it, congratulations, but I can't tell you how many times I actually recorded introduction videos where it kind of talked about this very thing. And I either never cut them together or never did anything with them because I felt like a sham. I felt like, who would even want to listen to me? Here you are basically coming back to art with your tail tucked between your legs. Who cares? You haven't created art. You're not even a good artist. Who wants to listen to someone who's not good? Like, you have no validity. And part of me thinks that I'm right, but the other part of me thinks that's not what it's about. In 2 years, when I'm finally doing art again and I'm doing it consistently and I'm, you know, challenging myself and actually making artwork, that's when I get to start questioning whether I'm a good artist or not. And I know that there are plenty of people out there who will say, oh, you're good, you just need to get back into it, or hey, you were good before you stopped, or you'll get there. And this video isn't about getting pity or about asking for forgiveness, even though it kind of sounds that way, and that may be a different video. This video is a lot more about me just admitting why and me being okay with that. And it kind of took me a while to be okay with some of my reasonings, and I had to get over the intimidation factor of me feeling like an authority on something that I necessarily am not an authority on, because I'm not an authority on this. I don't want people to think that I am. But at the same time, I also don't want people to think that I don't know what I'm talking about. So there's this weird back and forth that's going on. That said, I really look forward to be able to share the experience. I look forward to be able to move forward with the people who are going to watch this. And I do hope that this ends up helping either reassure people who were in the same spot that I was in, who are in the same spot that I am in, or who may be in the same spot that I was in, where you don't know what to do and the only answer seems to be to take a break, or you took the break and now you're thinking of getting back in, and so yeah. I feel like it was the right thing to do. I've been doing art every day for over 2 weeks now, and when I say every day, I mean like every day, which has been really nice. And I just need to keep on keeping on. It's sobering, but it's nice. So yeah. That all said, I won't go any farther because I have a chance to get, or in every other video that I did, I got really sappy. But I do want to take a moment and just thank everyone who supported me both before, when I was going through the rough patch, during, because I essentially became an utter recluse hermit and shut myself out from a lot of people. And I do want to apologize for that. But I also want to say thank you for when I did come back. You know, some time had passed, but it wasn't like there were hard feelings, if that makes sense. So I want to let people know that I appreciate that, I see it, I recognize it, and it really did mean the world to me. And I want to voice that because I want to let other people know that when you do that, it's okay. And good people, good friends, good supporters, they'll support you in that, and they'll just be happy that you are doing well. And I'd also like to extend a thank you into the future to the other people who will do the same thing. And this is where it gets kind of sappy, because, and I want people to know that that is heartfelt, and it always feels like I've lessened the heartfeltedness when I say like, and please know that that is from my heart, but it is. I am here due to a lot of kindness that has been expressed towards me, and I am eternally grateful. So, that said, I'll see you next video, and next video you'll probably see me with different hair. So yeah, have a good day.